Hello, welcome back, ladies and jelly spoons. So, I spend a lot of my time on Discord talking to a few people. I'm not having to dig at anyone, but a lot of the talking that's done on there is around conspiracy theories and the truth that you're not told about history. A lot of it comes from a documentary called The Century of the South. And it's how you'll have nothing and you'll be happy. So this is what they're working towards. This is the government's final solution, especially towards the motorist, at least anyway. You will own nothing and you'll be happy. They've not thought it through fully, and here's why. If it comes to the point where they don't want anyone owning a vehicle anyway, because of pollution and greenhouse and climate change and all that bullshit agenda that they like to ram down your throats, and now the world's going to end in 10 years. But if the world was really going to end in 10 years, would the banks really be offering you 40, 50-year mortgages? Think about it. No, they fucking wouldn't. But they're only going to tell you that. It's just a fucking scam to ring shit of whatever bit of money you've got. But as you can see on the news at the minute, they're trying to introduce these 15-minute cities, these clean air zones where they're barricading off certain streets and that, and you can't get an ambulance down them. So they've got to go on a 15-mile detour to get down the street. So by the time they get to you, you've snuffed it anyway. Yet the fact that Mr. Pizza Planet on his little 125 moped can get to you quicker than an ambulance can shows you the state the country's in. But anyway, so they're cutting off all these streets and that, so it makes it worthless owning a vehicle, so you use public transport. Thing is, if we all did that tomorrow, it'd put half the country on the unemployment line, for the simple reason is people won't be able to get to work on public transport. It's like, take me for instance, take half the HGV industry. We're out on the road 4 o'clock in the morning. There are only places like Manchester, London, Birmingham have a 24-hour bus service. The rest of the country, well, they're all parked up at 11 o'clock at night and they're not running again until 5 in the morning. So you've got 6 hours where he shanks his pony to work. Now for me, it's 10 miles one way, 10 miles the other way to work. You think I'm push biking 20 miles round trip a day to get work and back? You've got nothing coming. But if everyone gives up the cars tomorrow, where's that tax and that income going to come from for the government that they get off road tax, ULEZ, fuel duty, the VAT they charge on fuel duty, the VAT they charge you when you purchase a vehicle? Where's all that tax money coming from? You know, what about all the people that work in these petrol stations, that work in these car factories? If no one's going to buy them, what's the point in making them? The car industry's already on its arse. They've already got stockpiles of cars that they couldn't shift over COVID, so where's all the tax money that is generated by the motor industry going to come from? It's a rhetorical question because I don't know the answer, and I don't think anyone does know the answer. Or is it one of them, oh, we're going to have to tighten the belts a bit? That favourite saying that they like to come out with, everyone's going to have to tighten the belts a bit and taxes are going to have to go up. Why? Because you created a problem that you're going to blame on the general public and get them to pay for. It's a bit like the old congestion around London and that. Half the congestion around London is caused by the government. They narrow streets to put cycle paths in, they widen pavements so that where places like Chelsea Embankment, where you could get 2 cars side by side down there, you can't now, it's 1 car. So you make the congestion twice as long. When you go, oh, the pollution's going up in London, the congestion's going up in London. Why? Because you created the problem. Oh, what's the solution? Oh, well, everyone's going to have to use public transport. everyone's going to have to pay £12.50 to go into the centre of London. So we're going to have to pay for your fuck-ups as usual. And if you were that concerned about the pollution in London, you wouldn't be bothered about charging people £12.50 to drive into the centre of it. No, you wouldn't. You just ban all cars full stop. But no, you don't make any tax off that. It's a fucking scam, the whole fucking lot of it. All this, oh, everyone's going to have an electric car by 2035. The infrastructure's not there for it. And I'm not having a separate meter put into my house to charge up an electric car, and then when it's fully charged, you can drain it again to power the national grid. And then I've got to be charged again to charge it back up. So in the space of one night, the car's been charged 3 times. And I get to use it once. And you charge me 3 times for charging it. Fuck right off. People need to wake up and just open their eyes to what's going on around them. It's like over COVID when no one was buying cars. The government was panicking it was going to go into recession. Because the main 2 things that keep the economy going is the motor industry. In the housing market, when they start to crash, everything around them starts to crash. And as for the sale of petrol and diesel and that, and all these, everyone going over to EV, why aren't the fuel companies kicking off about it? Because they know it'll never happen. The first car was invented in the 1800s, and it was electric. It wasn't sustainable then. That's why it went on to internal combustion, burning fossil fuels, because it's better, it works better. It's just a fucking scam. It's just a scam to rinse you of your fucking money. That's all it is. Anyway, I hope I've made my point. I've rambled on long enough, I've bored you long enough. I'll catch you another day, another way. Bonjour.